What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope we're all doing well. So, I don't usually do stuff on weekends, but MLB Preview, we're doing right now. I know the season just started, but we've only played like 2 games, so don't think it's that big of a deal. And different angles today because the Mets are currently on. It's currently 1:43 p.m. when I am recording this. Mets game just started. I'm hoping they can pick up their first win so I can watch the game while I'm doing this. So let's get started. I'm going to go division by division, pick the divisional standings. Then I'll, before we close out, I'll say my playoff bracket in each league. I'm going to pick who I have winning the World Series. And then I will pick like the award winners, and we will call it a day. But here we go. Let's start. We're going to start in the National League. National League East, the Atlanta Braves winning. This will be like their 6th or 7th division title in a row, something like that. This team is a great team. I have them at 97 wins. They got a loaded lineup with Matt Olson, obviously Ronald Acuna had a historic year last year. Olson had a huge year last year. Sean Murphy, Olson Riley might be the best in his position now. Guys like Marcelo Ozuna is very good. Michael Harris is a pretty good player. You know, if the Albies when healthy is really good. This lineup is absolutely insane. You know, they have the rotation is in. I wouldn't say it's the strength of their team. They got, obviously, Strider in the front. I think he's a bit overrated. People think he's the best pitcher in baseball. I don't know about that, but he is a very good ace for sure. Has incredible stuff. That's why he striked out so many people. But, you know, he's throws a lot of fastballs, which leads to getting a lot of home runs, which leads to, you know, to some inflated outings, which is why his ERA, you would think a guy like him would have an ERA under 2.5, maybe at least under 3. His last year was around 3.5. You got Max Fried in that rotation as well. Lanky left-hander. A lot of injuries last year, but when help, he is a stud. I believe going into a contract year. Trevor Morton's still solid. You know, the back of the rotation is kind of rocky, but I think we'll once again keep him from winning a World Series. Obviously, you have Sale. Look, I think that was a good trade. You traded a guy in Vaughn Grissom who you just didn't have a spot for. Guy who deserves the playing time. You know, this guy was a hit for a high average, but, you know, deserves playing time. Braves can't give it to him. Let's send him away. Get something for him, and you know you're not paying that much for Sale. The Russell's covering a good amount of his salary. He obviously has had so many arm problems last few years. He's never on the field, but maybe now he's, you know, a lot less pressure. He's just a 4th or 5th starter. Go through every 5th thing. You can give him all that he got. Maybe he can be a better starter, and then probably Ronaldo Lopez, who obviously came up a top prospect with the White Sox. Well, started Washington, was sent to the White Sox in the Adam Eaton trade. Never really worked out, but has turned into a pretty good reliever the last couple of years. Right now, he's probably in their rotation. They gave him the 5th star spot over Bryce Elder. Guy who was an all-star in the first half of the year as a rookie, but then in the second half of the year was really, really bad. You know, struggled in the playoffs, so he's going to start in AAA. You know, they have a very good bullpen with, you know, Iglesias closing. You know, Joe Jimenez is pretty good. Tyler Matzek, AJ Minter. You know, Aaron Bummer struggled last year, but you make the trade for him, give him a lot to get him. But prior to last year, outside of last year, he's one of the better late-inning relievers in baseball. Kind of flew on the radar because he played for a very bad White Sox team, but he's now in Atlanta. You know, but they should be really good. There's no reason why they shouldn't, you know, hammer. You know, the baseball, they still got an incredible lineup, and so pitching is a little bit bizarre at times, but they still got a great rotation duo. Overall, the rotation should be pretty good. They have a very good bullpen. Brian Snitker's one of the best managers in baseball. That's why they won the World Series 2 years ago. And they're a great team. Clearly the best team in the National League. Number 2, that division is, I think, it's the Philadelphia Phillies. They have a very good lineup. Obviously, Bryce Harper, full move to first base. They'll keep him on the field. He's a stud, a guy when he first came up. Obviously, in Washington. Obviously, they might have seen him a lot. I used to not like him, but he was very arrogant, although he was a great player. And but he's really matured and turned himself into a very likable guy. And he's an absolutely incredible talent. He's very few guys have the hype that he got. You know, going back when he was in high school, and not only lived up to it, arguably, you know, even exceeded expectations. He's been incredible, Hall of Fame player when he retires. And then Trey Turner is obviously a stud, you know, bit of a tough year last year, but came on at the end. Obviously, the Phillies fans cheering him on helped. You know, J.J. Realmuto's still very good, obviously, especially defensively. You got Alec Boehm, is a good hitter. Obviously, Kyle Schwarber, who I think also hit a lot of home runs. And Nicholas Castellanos, well, if it's a tragedy, he'll definitely hit a home run. And I keep looking up, look at the Mets because they are now down. What looks like it's going to be 3-0. They're not going to give us here. We'll get to them very shortly. But back to the Phillies, they have very solid rotation. They returned that same first four guys, and Zach Wheeler, who's turned into a stud. Aaron Nola was really good. You locked him up in the offseason. Talon Walker was very good, as well as Ranger Suarez was pretty good. The bullpen, obviously, it's always a worry with them. They were ranked the best bullpen going into baseball by, I think, like MLB.com. I didn't understand. Didn't help that yesterday it imploded. That didn't help help Maris. But Jose Alvarez got great stuff. You got Sergio Dominguez, Gregory Soto, Matt Trump. The bullpen should be much better. It's been a problem for them the last couple of years. Problems kept them from winning the World Series because last year they've been a wild card team, but they were still able to, do some damage. 2 years ago, we're in the World Series. Last year, we're in the LCS and lose to Arizona. But their bullpen should be massively improved. This is a very good team. And, we had Merrifield's a nice chess piece to have on offense. He'll probably come off the bench, though. It should be a little bit defensively, too. Adding Johan Rojas. You have him and Brandon Marsh doubling up on defense in the outfield. Moving Harper to first base. Schwarber DHing full-time. The only guys who are legit defensive liabilities now in their lineup are Castellanos in right and Bohm to an extent third. Which is, still only have two guys near, on the diamond that, are very bad defenders, but, those two guys are also going to hit pretty well as well. And obviously you have, moving Harper to first, I think will help, and how remove those go caliber guy. Turner, as is Trey, Turner at short, and in the outfield. Rojas is a great defender, so Coach should be a very good team. I think they 7 wins this year, and they'll be second place in that division. And third in the National League East, I have the Miami Marlins. I have them at 76 wins. Look, they just don't have enough offense. It's as simple as that. Josh Chisholm is great, but he's always hurt. Jake Burrow's got a lot of power. Alex Luis Arias is a great hitter. Josh Bell's got some power, so they have. But then other than that, like Christian Bethencourt's not good at all. Tim Anderson had a horrible year last year. I don't know how much he has left. Avisel Garcia hasn't worked out. Jesus Sanchez is still young. Brian De La Cruz is still young. So, well, it might be a little bit better. You get some young guys that'll come along. You add Josh Bell, but they still are great. And even the rotation not having Alcantara this year is going to hurt. Jesus Luzardo had a great year this year, but remember Yuri Perez, Albert Cabrera, Braxton Garrett all in the eye at the start of the year. I think that's going to hurt them. So right now, Yanni Chirinos is in the rotation. He's a guy I remember a couple years with Tampa was pitching really well. Then he had, he's coming off an arm problem. Trevor Rogers is really struggled the last couple of years after a great rookie year. Sixto Sanchez has been waiting for this guy, this possible star to come up. He just hasn't been able to stay on the field and had trouble in the minors. And they have Ryan Weathers, more top prospect in San Diego. He got who you traded for last year, who hasn't worked out. They should have a very good bullpen with AJ Puk, Anthony Bender, and in the back, you also have guys like Michael Givens, Terrence Scott in that bullpen. But just injuries to the rotation, I think they're going to hurt them, and they don't have enough offense. And this, again, they're the Marlins. They are the Marlins. Well, I shout out to Brandon for his first hit of the season. So that's as many hits as they got yesterday, so that's a plus, I guess. But speaking of the Mets, they are not going to give us here. I have them at 74 wins in 4th place in their division. I don't know why David Stearns and Steve Cohen. I'm happy Stearns is the president of baseball operations for the Mets. Y'all know I keep feeling best Steve Cohen now on the Mets. He's definitely doing his best. Obviously he's a baseball guy, but he's willing to spend money. He cares about winning and different things he's doing just to improve the fan experience at Citi Field, just improve the organization overall. Happy about, but this is not a good baseball team. Well, look, Pete Alonso is a stud. I hope they resign him after the year. Lindor is a stud. Brandon Mo's a very good player. I could see McNeil bouncing back. I'm hoping Marte bounces back. I can see that happening. Francisco Alvarez, I think is going to be a stud. So, JD Martinez is going to be here in a couple of weeks. He's a nice power bat to have in your lineup. So they could have a pretty solid lineup. It all depends on, Brett Beatty. How will he, his first full year, what's he going to do? You got, obviously need Marte to bounce back. You need Jeff McNeil to bounce back. But their pitching is not good. You have Kawhi out at least the first month of the year with an elbow injury. And the rest of the rotation is Jose Quintana, who's a fine innings eater, but not an ace. You have Severino, who's awful. He's got 3 runs in the first inning. His first inning is a Met. Adrian Hauser is a fine. Another guy I brought in. He's a fine innings in your back of your rotation, nothing else. You have Shoma Naya, who's a bit of a wild card. A couple years ago was emerging as a very good starter. He started the last couple of years. Was horrible last year for the Giants to start out. Moving to the bullpen, he brought in that sweeper pitch and it was untouchable. And they put him in the rotation at the end of the year and he pitched well. So he's a wild card. I can see him eating some innings from the back, but other rotation, but nothing else. Right now, Tyler McGill's in the rotation, and I don't get me started on him. I lost count how many times I tweeted about how bad he was last year and how he's not a starting pitcher at the major league level. Even when Singer comes back, it'll help, obviously, but your number 2 star is Jose Quintana. That's not good. And your bullpen, that would happen. Diaz is back. I'm hoping he pitches today so I can hear the trumpets. Brooks Raley's come off a great year. He's a very good reliever. MLB's pretty good. Other than that, like Diekman's a fine left-handed reliever. But like other than that, like Fujinami, I'm interested to see what he got. He's got great stuff. His control is horrible. He's a fine middle relief option, but like Drew Smith isn't very good. He was terrible last year. Jorge Lopez had 1 half good year in his career. Like I'm just not. To me, they could have a pretty good lineup, but it depends on a few things. The bullpen could be better, maybe, but their rotation is going to be terrible. Now, I'm not even sure if this guy Mendoza is the manager, the Yankees bench coach. I don't know. Not sold on him. I don't think this is going to be a very good Mets team. I'm hoping we see some of these prospects come up, like Drew Gilbert, Luis Angel Acuna, maybe Christian Scott on the pitching side, Mike Vassell on the pitching side, maybe. That'll help. And their ceiling is probably like the back end of the playoffs, which is good, I guess. But considering it's the Mets, they never seem to reach their full potential. So I have them going 74-88 this year. They are not going to be good. And in last place in the division, I have the Washington Nationals. They're obviously in a rebuild. Don't expect much from them. Even like their best hitters. You look, Joey Gallo's the guy who's going to hit a lot of home runs, get on base a lot, but also strike out a lot, hit 180. He'll be gone by August. It's young guys like CJ Abrams and Kyber Ruiz. Rest of the lineup, Stone Garrett. Who is that? Luis Garcia. The rotation, I like Josiah Gray and Mackenzie Gore, 2 young guys, but other than that, Trevor Williams is your 3. Zach Davis hasn't been good in years. Patrick Corbin's contract is just horrid. Their bullpen isn't great. Kyle Finnegan's your closer, so you don't need to know. Hunter Harvey's never healthy. Dylan Flores okay. Richard Blyer, one day is good, next day is horrible. Like they should not be very good again. They're still very young. I'm at 68 wins. I've heard some people saying they could be a lot better than expected. Maybe they'll be competitive, and I could see them being very competitive. Maybe they sneak close to 500, but I don't think they'll be in the playoffs at all. National League Central, I have the Chicago Cubs win that division. I only have them at 88 wins, but I think they'll be enough to win that division. The division isn't great. Cubs, you have they're very good defensively. Obviously, you brought back Cody Bellinger. You have Sai Suzuki there. Ian Happ had a really good year last year. I think Christopher Morel's going to be a star. Swanson and Nico Horner at the middle are really good. So this should be a very good team. You have young catcher Miguel Amaya, who I've liked for a long time. Adding Shoto Amaya to your rotation is going to really help. Him just up the top are going to be very, very good. And a pretty good bullpen. It's anchored by Ever Aslide. I love the batting Hector Neris. He's very good. You have Julian Merriweather and Carl Edwards in the bullpen as well. You brought back Carl Edwards, so this isn't a great team by any means, but I think they have a decent lineup with good depth. They have a pretty good rotation, a pretty good bullpen. They have a much better manager now. I think David Rolf was the best manager in Craig Counsell. Hopefully knows the division. I think they'll be solid. And also they should win a lot in the division. So that'll also help. So I have 88 wins and winning the division. In second place, I have the Cincinnati Reds. I have them at 83 wins. They have a lot of young talent in that lineup. Obviously, Ale De La Cruz, can't wait to see him. You have, Spencer Steer and Encarnacion Strand, Tyler Stevenson behind the plate. Matt McClain's injured right now, but you'll see him in a few weeks. We all know what he can do. He's a great young player. They still have Jonathan India, and I know he's been in Trade Talks for 2 years, it seems like, but he's still there. He's a good player. The pitching leaves a lot to be desired. Your ace right now is Frankie Montas, who hasn't pitched in 2 years. And then you have like Hunter Green. Throws very hard. I know he worked hard in the offseason. I know he's developing some off-speed stuff, but that 100-mile-per-hour fastball, it's, fun to watch, but it's not, had a lot of success so far. Graham Ashcraft, Andrew Abbott, none of these guys scream anything. Their bullpen, Alexis Diaz has got incredible stuff, had a great year last year, of course. His brothers, Edwin Diaz, those Diaz brothers, they are very, very good closers, both of them. Having TJ Antone back will help. Other than that, it's like Buck Farmer. Neil Pagan's been good in a couple of years. Sam Mole. I mean, the bullpen could be pretty good, but their rotation, I think, is going to be horrible. And I think that's what's going to cause them to playoff. But they should be exciting, and I think they're a year away. In third place in the division, I have the Milwaukee Brewers. Right now are beating up the Mets. Mixing the Mets to the bases loaded 2 out in the bottom of the first. I'm going to give you some counter as a Mets game, though. By the time this is out, this game will probably already be up. That he'll definitely be over, unless it's a crazy extra inning game. Milwaukee, look, they had a rough offseason. Obviously, you lose your manager and Craig Counsell, one of the league's best managers. You lose, the brains behind this whole thing that kept them relevant for the last bunch of years. And David Stearns, of course. Stearns takes the president of baseball operations role with the Mets. Counsell leaves to be the manager for the Cubs. If you trade your ace Corbin Burns to the Orioles, Brendan Woodruff's not going to pitch this year. Thankfully, they were 3-7 to a 2-year deal, though. Your closer, Devin Williams, is out probably until the All-Star break. Lost a lot of talent. Robin Tellez is a power bat that you non-tendered, so you lost a lot. I don't think they're going to hit much. Obviously they added Rhys Hoskins. Obviously got into Blue in the end yesterday, but he's obviously got 30 homer power. A lot of playoff. He's been very good in the playoffs. Obviously was in the World Series 2 years ago, but did not play last year because of a torn ACL. Other than him, I like William Contreras. Adames has got power. Yelich is older now. He's had a lot of. He's got that back problem, but he's still a good player. Other than that, you're relying on a lot of young, unproven guys like Garrett Mitchell, South, like Joey Weimer. So just a lot of unknown in that lineup, and that rotation. Freddie Peralta's great. He is a really good pitcher. Other than that, you're relying on Bryce Wilson, Colin Rea, Joe Ross. The rotation just isn't the same. The bullpen without Williams looks a lot different. You have Joel Pompeyes. Closing looks like, and he's got good stuff. Other than that, it's Hobie Miller, Elvis Peguero, Trevor McGill. Their bullpen should still be okay without him. Obviously, once it comes back from the second half, it should be a lot better. But their lineup isn't great, and their rotation outside of Freddie Peralta is very questionable. So I have them at 76 wins. They're going to take a step back this year. In fourth place, I have the St. Louis Cardinals. I don't know what you're expecting with this Cardinals rotation. It's not better than it was last year. So they saw that golf rotation last year. They thought, let's sign Kyle Gibson, who's at best a serviceable fifth starter. Let's sign Lance Lynn, who hasn't been good in 3 years. Obviously back for his second stint in St. Louis. Miles Michaels is alright. He's a fine pitcher, but he's not an ace. Steven Matz, who his arm is just jelly at this point, and Zach Thompson, who the rotation is awful. Awful. They obviously have some bats in the lineup. Goldschmidt is obviously a great player. Arenado is one of the best third basemen ever. Brendan Donovan's pretty good. You got some young guys in the lineup. Nolan Gorman, Jordan Walker, Lars Nootbaar. The first one was Brendan Crawford, but that's besides the point. And Melissa Contreras is cooked. But still have a very good lineup. Their bullpen also is okay. Ryan Helsley is a great closer. Giovanni Gallegos is very good. Outside of that, Matt Liberatore is going to have to make it as a reliever. And Josh James, Jojo Romero. This Cardinals team, their starting rotation is going to be horrid. Their pitching sucks. And the lineup's getting a little older. Ollie Marmol was not a good manager. I'm surprised he's even still there after last year. Not even sure why they fired Mike Shilton in the first place a couple of years ago, but Cardinals will not be very good this year. Yet again. They need to just tear everything down. It's time. Last place, I have the Pittsburgh Pirates. I don't know what else do you want me to say about them. Look, O'Neal Cruz has a chance to be an absolute stud. Brian Hayes is really good, especially defensively. I like the Henry Davis should be, fun to watch from our first overall pick. Brian Reynolds is a great player. He's still Agent McCutcheon. So they have a lot of fun players, but that doesn't mean they're good at baseball. Bullpen that was great. You had Chapman, but he will be gone by August. Cal Hardeman's turned to a very good reliever. That trade by the Mets to trade him for Gabe Newell does not age well for the Mets. Thanks, Billy Epler. Pirates rotation is hideous. Mitch Kemmer's turned into a very good starting pitcher, finally. Lance Marco Gonzalez, who was horrible last year, coming off an injury. Martin Perez had one great year 2 years ago. Other than that, he's been a serviceable fifth starter. Bailey Fulter and Quinn Priester. Oh, God. That is horrid. Pirates pitching is... Their bullpen's okay, but their rotation is horrible. Their lineup is fun, but not necessarily that great. Pirates are not going to be good again. I have them at 65 wins, so they barely avoid 100 losses. In National League West, of course, I have the Dodgers winning. Do I have them winning the World Series? No, but they will win 104 games and win the division. Do I need to say why? Ohtani, assuming he doesn't get suspended for betting, he'll obviously be there. And he'll match out some Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Will Smith, Max Muncy. The lineup is great. Teoscar Hernandez now. The pitching worries me a little bit. I'm not going to lie. Obviously, Yamamoto, I assume he'll be a stud, but he may take a little bit to get used to the MLB. But Tucker Glasnow, if healthy, is a great problem. He's never healthy. Paxton's pretty good, but he's another long problem. So I think Bobby Miller will be a guy who will help them. Bullpen's pretty good with Evan Phillips. I was to see Ryan Breder was good last year. Joe Kelly, Daniel Hudson. But they'll win a lot of games in the regular season, if nothing else. In second place, I have the Arizona Diamondbacks. I'm very high on this Diamondbacks team. I think they're going to be really good. They have so much on count in that lineup. Gabriel Moreno, Corbin Carroll, Alec Thomas, Ketel Marte, Lourdes Gurriel. You had a phenomenal season too. You had Jock Pearson to add some power. Obviously, you already have Christian Walker there. You added you had Tucker Barner for some depth for Randall Grichuk. You added Jordan Montgomery and Roy Rodriguez behind Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly in your rotation. Bullpen is probably their biggest weakness, but I think they'll be fine with Paul Sewell, Miguel Castro, Kevin Ginkel. They should be really good at having 92 wins and making the playoffs. I think they could make some noise in the playoffs. In third, I'm going to go with the San Francisco Giants. They had a really strong offseason. Obviously, you add Jung-Ho Lee from overseas. He'll play center field. He's a great hitter. We also have Matt Chapman, who's a Gold Glove third baseman, who's got a lot of power. Patrick Daly is a good young catcher. You have guys like Mike Yastrzemski. You had Jorge Soler as well, who's in their power back. In your rotation, you have Blake Snell, obviously 2 years, $60 million as a steal. With him and Logan Webb at the top will be very exciting. But the rest of the rotation isn't great. Keaton Wynn's a young guy we don't know much about. Jordan Hicks, why is he back in the rotation? Don't understand. Bowman should be pretty good with Camille Duvall. You have the Rogers brothers and Ryan Walker, but I think the rotation's going to hold them back. And I'm not sure if the game hasn't passed Bob Melvin by at this point. I have the San Diego Padres finishing in third with 84 wins, just behind the Giants. Look, they could be a sleeper team. Not as much pressure this year. Obviously, you have Fernando Tatis. You have Manny Machado. Bogarts. You have some stars in the lineup. I like Cronenworth. Then, you're relying on guys like Jackson Merrill, the top prospect. Is he going to work out or not? Jorkson Profar is kind of okay. Luis Campusano, still young. So, but that means that their pitching should be really good. The rotation with Joe Musgrove, Dylan Cease, and Yu Darvish should be really good, as well as Michael King, who you get in the Soto trade. Your bullpen with Robert Suarez and Yuki Matsui in the back, along with Wandy Peralta and Tom Cosgrove. So they should have a really good pitching staff, but their lineup isn't as good. They're also in a really good division. So I do think Mike Schill is a better fit to manage that team than Bob Melvin. And the last is the Colorado Rockies. That is a horrible organization. It's impossible to pitch there because it's in Colorado. Pitchers don't want to go there. The management does nothing, sits on their hands the whole off season. In their lineup, they have Chris Bryant, who's washed. He basically came out that he signed the Rockies because he didn't think he was going to get a contract after the lockout, but he did get a bag, so I don't blame him. Troy Blackman is, obviously much older. They extend Ezekiel Tovar for 7 years for God knows why. Ryan McMahon, Brendan Rodgers lost causes at this point. Like Elias Diaz is just there. Not sure what's going on. The rotation is horrid. Kyle Freeland's okay. Cal Quantrill isn't great. Just the rest of the rotation, is horrible. Dakota Hudson's arm is barely hanging on by a cliff. The closer is Justin Lawrence. I don't even know who that is. Their pitching is horrendous. They are a horrendous baseball team. They will lose over 100 games and miss 64 wins. All right, so we'll have 98 losses. Don't be surprised they are even worse than that. In the American League, I have the Baltimore Orioles winning 104 games. They're going to be incredibly good this year. They had so many good young hitters in that lineup. Gunnar Hands, Austin Hayes, Cedric Mullins, Anthony Santander, Ryan Mackhouse. Let's go down the list. Jordan Westberg, Jackson Holland, the league's best prospect's going to be here soon. And then the rotation, you had Corbin Burns, a huge move for them. To join Kyle Brady, who's very good, Grayson Rodriguez. John Means healthy. A bunch of still be very good even without Felix Bautista. With Craig Kimbrell, you being Addy Subkin, Neil Cano, and Brian Baker, Danny Colombe, Sinol Perez. So, they should be really, really good. Brendan Hyde's a great manager. I have them 104 wins. They should win the AL East without a problem. In second place, I have the Tampa Bay Rays. No, not the Rays. They are third. I have the Toronto Blue Jays at 87 wins. They're a good, not great team to me. They're weird. You look at the roster, you're like, wow, this team is really good. They use Zumac. Like, actually, it's just kind of fine. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., I think he's overrated, to be honest. He's a great player. He's only had one elite year, and he was supposed to be like this superstar. Obviously, it's a lot of pressure, being who his dad is, but he has not lived up to expectations. In my opinion, though, they have Bichette, who's a stud. Springer's very good. You had Justin Turner. Like, Alejandro Kirk's had one great year under his belt. Maggio, great defender. Throws a lot of walk, but isn't a great hitter. IKF is not a good hitter. Varsho, that Joel Varsho trade was going to haunt them for years. I like the rotation a lot. Kevin Goldsman, Jose Barrios, Chris Bassett. After that, though, it gets murky with Yusei Kikuchi. Right now, their fifth story is Bowen Francis with Alec Manoah hurt. And their bullpen, Eric Swanson and Drew Romano were hurt. Their top two relievers. Tim Mays is probably your closer. They'll make the playoffs again, but they won't do anything. Also, John Schneider's a terrible manager. Why he's still there is beyond me. In third, I have the New York Yankees. I have them at 84 wins. I'm just not expecting much from them. I don't know what you want me to do. Obviously, Aaron Judge, if he's healthy, is one of the league's best players. Obviously, Ray Wilson, who's a superstar. Torres is pretty good, but they need bounce backs from Anthony Rizzo and Stanton and LeMahieu. We need Volpe's back to come along. There's just so many things need to go right for them. And without Cole, their rotation isn't great. Nestor Cortez wasn't good last year. Rodon was awful last year. You got Stroman, got a big mouth. He's an okay pitcher. He's got a big mouth. Schmidt's okay. The bullpen should be very good with Holmes closing up Jonathan Losaga, Tommy Kahnle, and Hamilton. But Aaron Boone's not a great manager. I don't expect much for the Yankees. I don't even think they'll make the playoffs. And you have Tampa, have them at 84 wins. By the way, Francisco Alvarez hit a home run, so that's more than they did yesterday. His first home run of the year, it's a bomb. That's for now within 2 runs. The Tampa Bay Rays, they just don't have enough offense. Rosarena is better than him. It's Guillermo Diaz is really good. I like how Ramirez is a good hitter. Other than that, Braden Lowe's got a lot of power, but hits 205 and he's always hurt. Isaac Price, home run or bust. Jose Siri isn't a good hitter. Your rotation is a lot to be desired. Your ace is probably Zach Eflin. The rotation really isn't very good. Obviously, got some good bullpen with Pete Fairbanks and Jason Namcon, Poche. But, good lord, their lineup is going to be horrible. They are not going to be able to score enough runs. And their starting pitching is not good. And the last one, the Boston Red Sox, they're just overmatched. Devers is great. I like them being able to put George Story back at short. I think Vaughn Gressman at some point will be there to second baseman. Obviously, you have Yoshida. Tyler Nails, nothing else, will hit a lot of home runs. The rotation is, not good. Brian Bay, I think, is pretty good. Is he an ace, though? I don't know. He kind of reminds me of Mikal Bridges with the Mets. Mikal Bridges, if he's your third best scorer, he's gonna be phenomenal. He's gonna be one of your best players, and you're gonna win a lot of games. But as your first scorer, no, you're not gonna win a lot of games. Bayo, if he was their third starter, I would think this front seems really good. They got a great rotation. As their ace, no, something's wrong. Nick Pivetta, he looked great yesterday. Don't expect much from him. Cutter Crawford, yikes. And then Garrett Walker, Tanner Hall, a lot of maybes. But I like Kelly Jansen, the rest of it. Chris Martin's pretty good, though he's older. Other than that, not much I like. They're just overmatched. They're going to win 76 games. Usually that puts you in third place. They'll be in fifth place near the division. American League Central, I have the Twins winning the division with 91 wins. I think they're pretty good. You got Carlos Santana, who's nothing else will hit some tanks. You have Royce Lewis, who's a really exciting young player. Correa, I think, will be a little better. Obviously, the whole question with their lineup is will Brian Buxton stay healthy? But yeah, Alex Preop's pretty good. I think they have a good rotation. They got Pablo Lopez and Joe Ryan at the top. Bailey Overton into a pretty good pitcher. Their bullpen, led by Joe Barrera. You also have Brock Stewart, Cam Febar, as well as Griffin Jacks. So, I think they'll be pretty good. Also, they're going to win a lot of games in that division. The division is not good at all. They should have a lot of success in that division. They'll kind of inflate their record a bit. But it'll be enough to win the division. In second, I have the Cleveland Guardians. I have them at 83 wins. They just can't hit. Jose Ramirez is a stud. Other than that, Josh Nero's got some power. Kwan, they need to bounce back from him. Need to bounce back from Jimenez, and no one else in that lineup is giving you anything. Brian Rocky, Austin Hedges might be the worst hitter in baseball. It's horrible. The rotation's pretty good. Shane Bieber's very good. You have Tristan McKenzie's, even other than that, I like Tanner Bibby, but other than that, it's Gavin Williams and Logan Allen. Their bullpen, Clase is phenomenal. Elon Morgan, Sam Hendricks, Trevor Stephen are pretty good, so they have a pretty good bullpen. The rotation, but top 2 or 3 guys are very good. Other than that, the back end's a little worrisome, and they're just horrible offensively. They also got a new rookie manager, Steven Vogt, and take some time to learn. So it'll be another kind of mid-year for the Guardians. In third place, I have the Detroit Tigers at 71 wins. People are trying to hype them up. Don't get it. They're still horrid offensively. Javier Baez is absolutely washed. That contract was horrible. I do like Spencer Torkelson. Riley Green's exciting. Other than that, a lot of nobodies. Colt Keith, Parker Meadows, they are not going to score a lot of runs. Rotation should be better if Casey Myers, Scooble healthy, if Matt Manning, Red Jack Flaherty, maybe can eat some innings. But your bullpen is terrible. They're not going to hit either. In fourth place, I have the Kansas City Royals at 68 wins. Again, people try to hype them up. Why? Look, Cole Reagan should be very exciting in that rotation. The rest of it's not very good. Seth Lugo's pretty good. He's your 2. That's a problem. He's a 4. Then you have Michael Wacha, who's always hurt. Brady Singer, who I thought was going to be really good. That didn't quite work the way I wanted it to. But why not? You have Salvador Perez, who's still kicking. You have some young players. Bobby Witt's really good. I like Dave Pasquantino. Hunter Renfro's got some power, but Kyle Isbell, Adam Frazier's not great anymore. And the bullpen's horrendously bad. So they're not good. Also, they have Matt Qualtera managing that team. Well, and last one are the Chicago White Sox, who might be the worst team in baseball. They are going to be atrociously bad. I have them at 58 wins. That gives them 104 losses. I look at their lineup. Luis Roberts really good. Luis Roberts really good. I like Eloy Jimenez. Other than that, Ben Tenney was horrible last year. Paul DeYoung is absolutely terrible. Maldonado is one of the worst hitters I've ever seen. Vaughn's got some power, but Yoel Moncada isn't any good. Nicky Lopez can't hit. They are not going to score a lot of runs. Their rotation, yikes. Like their ace is Garrett Crochet, who I like a lot, but their 2 is Mike Soroka, who hasn't pitched in 3 or 4 years consistently. Chris Flexion's in the rotation for crying out loud. He had 2 good years. Another night's been horrible. Their bullpen, I like the potential of Michael Kopech. The rest of it leaves a lot to be desired. This is not going to go well. To the American League West, I have the Houston Astros coming out. Look, this team is still dangerous. They still have a loaded line with Altuve and Bregman, Jordan Alvarez, Kyle Tucker, who doesn't get enough credit, Jeremy Pena. So a really good rotation with Framber Valdez, with Verlander still very good even at his age. Javier, Hunter Brown, and your key McCullers healthy. If they're healthy, it's still a really good rotation. You have Hader closing them with Ryan Presley, Montero, Brian Brady. Their bullpen's loaded. This is still a great team. They'll still be dangerous in the playoffs. I have 96 wins winning the division for the 8th year in a row. And second, I have the Texas Rangers, the defending champs. They lost a lot. You lose Joe Montgomery, who was your second best starter last year, and he was great in the playoffs. You lose your top two relievers in Will Smith and Aroldis Chapman. Max Scherzer is out until at least June, coming off an injury. Obviously, he won't have to ground much this year. Mike Runza, who you just picked up, is hurt to start the year. But that lineup is still incredibly good. Corey Seager's a stud. Marcus Semien, Josh Jung, Joel Garcia. We're excited to see late Tavares and Evan Carter this year. Because, oh my goodness, they are going to be so fun to watch. They're going to score a lot of runs. Rotation now. Anthony DeVoy is a little questionable. With John Gray's okay. Heaney's okay. Other than that, it's very questionable. Though getting Scherzer back will help. He's obviously going to be 4 years old. I'm not the same, but he's still pretty good. They're both. I like David Robinson, who was terrible at the Marlins last year, but was great in the first half of the Mets. I think he'll be better. Same was with Miami, at least. You have a Clerk closing, which I don't mind, Josh Spoor, so they're also going to score a lot of runs. So they'll be a solid team still, 92 wins, and they'll probably in the playoffs. In third place in that division, I have the Seattle Mariners. Look, they had a really weird offseason. I feel like the moves they were making was kind of like clearing salary for a big move, where it was Ohtani or Juan Soto or something. And it just never happened. Like, you traded Daniel Suarez, who's a legit 30 homer threat, for Sebi Zavala, your backup catcher. And you just said Jared Kelly and Mark Gonzalez, see ya, bye. I know Kelly's been a massive bust, but, he's still young. Gonzalez was a horrible year last year, but he's been a dependable star throughout his career. You said, see ya. But that didn't make any sense. You trade Robbie Ray, who starting in June will be a legit, addition to anyone's rotation, for Keith Stefani, who just dumped to some other team. Mitch Hanger, who if you're familiar with, but he had always hurt. I didn't really get what they were doing. In their lineup, they obviously have Julio Rodriguez is incredible. I like Ty Franchella. I think he could bounce back after a bit of a down year last year, after a phenomenal year the year before. Calgary's got a lot of power, but you're relying on a lot of young guys. Dominic Canzone and Josh Rojas. Crawford's great shortstop, the best hitter. You're DHing Garver, so you basically have two catchers in your lineup. It's kind of weird. Their pitching, that was phenomenal. That rotation, top of of George Kirby, Luis Castillo, and Logan Gilbert is phenomenal. Bryce Miller's an exciting young guy. Andres Munoz closing with Ryan Stank in that bullpen. Also have Taylor Salcido and Trent Thornton. So for your bullpen, phenomenal rotation. Their lineup just isn't great. In fourth place, I have the Los Angeles Angels, now managed by Ron Washington. They're not going to be good. They were good at Ripple time. They're going to be bad without him. Trout is still an amazing player, one of the all-time greats, but that back problem is real. He's going to miss games like he does every year. Rest of their lineup, Taylor Ward's pretty good. Brandon Drury's pretty good. He had a great year last year. But, what's what I even say of Anthony Rendell? The dude's a bum. Absolute douchebag, too, saying, oh, this is job for me. Dude, shut up. Make $30 million a year. Shut your mouth. Luis Rengifo isn't any good. Zach Nato, who? Logan O'Hop, who is that? Rotation, I like Pat Sandoval. Besides that, it's Tyler Anderson, Reed Dembers, and Griffin Canning. What? Their bullpen should be pretty good, with Carlos Estevez and Matt Moore in the back. And then, but... you had Adam Simber, you'll have Robert Stevenson, and Sevy gave them another runs, 5-1. This guy is horrible. But back to the Angels, they're going to have a tough year. I have 67 wins. And in last place, I have the Oakland Athletics. They'll be the worst team in baseball yet again. But let's count. I could probably count the major league players on this team on one hand. Brandon Rooker's pretty good. I like Mr. Ruby telling him they pick up J.D. Davis. That's the best J.D. Davis could do? Really? You're like Shane DeVere hasn't worked out. You're selling Ryan Noda and Zach Galloff. Who? Seth Brown isn't any good. Your ace is Paul Blackburn, J.P. Sears up top of that rotation, Alex Wood. Your closer was Mason Miller. I don't know anything. Also, now they picked up from the Mets right before the season in like a depth trade, like the fourth best reliever. This team is atrocious. They are an embarrassment to the game of baseball. I have them losing 105 games, and then they should be lucky it's not more. But let's pick my awards. Let's start in the American League. For my MVP, I actually did not prepare these, so I'm just doing these right off the top of my head. My MVP, you know what? Let's go with Yordan Alvarez. That dude is an absolute stud. Oh my God. He is phenomenal. He's going to win MVP. The Cy Young in the American League. You know what? Let's stay with the same team. For Framber Valdez, I'll pick him to win the Cy Young. I'm sorry, I think Houston's still really good. The way I talk about them, do you think I really like them? I don't. I just can't deny it. They're just so freaking good. The manager of the year in the American League. That's a tough one. There's not that. I don't think there's that many surprises in that division. I'll say Bruce Bochy wins it. I'll say Bruce Bochy. Maybe they deal with a lot of injuries, and then they still get to the playoffs. National League side, the MVP. I am going to say. I'm gonna say it's gonna be Freddie Freeman. As much as he's killed him his whole career, I love that man. He is such a phenomenal player. How could you not like him? The Cy Young in the National League, I am going to say, let's go with. No, let's take crazy. Let's go with Logan Webb. I think he has a big year. Let's go with Logan Webb. And the manager of the year National League, I'll say it's Craig Counsell. I'll say the Cubs have a very good year. I'll say it's Craig Counsell. But my playoff predictions in the American League, the first two seeds are Baltimore and Houston. And then Minnesota will be three. The three wild cards will be Texas, Toronto, and Seattle. In the National League, I have the Dodgers and Atlanta getting the byes. The Cubs will win their division. The three wild cards will be Arizona, Philadelphia, and San Francisco. And then so in the first round, in the wild card round, best of three. In the American League, I have Minnesota hosting Toronto again, and I have Texas hosting Seattle. No, excuse me, I messed it up. Minnesota will be hosting Seattle, and Texas will be hosting Toronto. And then in the National League, I have the Cubs will host San Francisco, and Arizona will host Philadelphia. Remember the NLCS. I will take between Minnesota and Seattle. I'm gonna take Seattle to win that series. Minnesota's only good because they're in the bad division. And between Texas and Toronto, I'm taking Texas. Toronto's never going to have the first round. So then it's going to be Baltimore will play the lowest seed. So the lowest seed is Seattle. So they'll play Seattle in the division series. And I will take Baltimore to win that series. And then I'm going to have Houston play Texas. That should be a phenomenal series. I'll say Houston wins that series. And then Houston and Baltimore in the ALCS, I'll say Houston wins that series. And they're back in the World Series. And then in the National League, I will, between the Cubs and San Francisco, ooh, that's a good series. I'll say the Cubs sweep by in 3 games. And then Arizona and Philly, I'm going to take Arizona. So then the Dodgers are going to play Arizona in the division series. And yet again, Arizona nicks them, and everyone can laugh at the Dodgers. Arizona goes to the LCS again, and between Atlanta and the Cubs, I'll say Atlanta gets by in 5 games. And then it's Atlanta against Arizona in LCS. I think Arizona does it again, and they will go to the World Series. We have Arizona against Houston in the World Series. I have the Arizona Diamondbacks winning the World Series, their first World Series trophy since 2001, the year before I was born. All right, that's all I got for you guys today. Until next time, so long. Have a great day.